The billionaire leaned back in his leather chair, eyes fixed on the boy standing in front of him. Then, with a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth, he let out a laugh that rolled through the room like thunder. 9 languages, Walton scoffed, his voice dripping with disbelief. Don't make me laugh, boy. You can't even speak proper English. In front of him stood Marcus Carter, just 14, clutching a beat-up backpack. Beside him, his mother's cleaning cart rattled softly. Grace Carter, 42 years old, kept her eyes down, wishing her son had stayed silent. But Marcus didn't flinch. He looked Walton straight in the eye and said, calm and steady, English, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, Swahili, and Portuguese. The room froze. Walton's smirk faltered. Grace's heart pounded. For a moment, the powerful man stared at the boy, waiting for him to stumble. But Marcus didn't. One by one, the words spilled out, fluent, precise, effortless, until the billionaire's office no longer felt like his own. Marcus Carter was 14 years old. His world was the Bronx, a neighborhood alive with sound and struggle. Sirens at night, arguments in the hallway, and mornings weighed down with unpaid bills. He and his mother lived in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment, with cracked walls and a leaky faucet that never stopped dripping. Grace worked nights as a cleaner for Walton Global Industries, one of the most powerful companies in New York. Every evening, she put on her uniform and swallowed her pride, determined to build a better future for her son. She hated when Marcus saw her hunched over mops and buckets, but survival didn't leave many choices. Marcus was different. While kids in his building played basketball or memorized rap verses, he carried a backpack heavy with library books. They called him Professor, teased him for being strange. He didn't care. He had discovered early that knowledge wasn't just power. It was freedom. By 14, he spoke 9 languages. Not just words, but accents, proverbs, rhythms of cultures across the globe. Some nights his mother found him asleep at the kitchen table, his head resting on dictionaries, pencil still in hand. But brilliance doesn't erase hardship. Rent was always late. Grace worked double shifts, often coming home with swollen feet and blistered hands. The refrigerator was often half empty, and Marcus sometimes went to school hungry. Still, he carried himself with quiet determination. Then came the night that changed everything. Grace's babysitter canceled. Rent was already late. She couldn't skip her shift. So reluctantly, she brought Marcus with her to work. "Stay quiet," she whispered, as they walked into the glittering tower of Walton Global. "Don't draw attention." The skyscraper loomed like a monument to wealth. Inside, the floors gleamed, the chandeliers sparkled, and security guards stood at every corner. To Marcus, it felt like another world, one he didn't belong to, but one he wanted to understand. That night, while Grace cleaned the CEO's office, the sound of polished shoes echoed across marble floors. The door opened, and in walked Richard Walton himself. Tall, broad-shouldered, silver hair slicked back, a British accent sharp as a blade. His presence alone filled the room. "What's this?" Walton barked. "Why is your son here?" Grace froze. "He'll stay out of the way, sir, please. I had no choice." Walton smirked, turning to Marcus. "And what about you, boy? What's your dream? Rapper? Basketball player? That's the usual story, isn't it?" Marcus straightened. He met Walton's gaze. "I study languages." The billionaire chuckled. "Languages? You? How many?" 9, Marcus replied. Walton laughed, booming across the walls. 9 languages? At 14? Don't waste my time. I doubt you can even spell your own name. Grace's face burned with shame. But Marcus stood firm, calm, confident. English, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, Mandarin, Japanese, Swahili, Portuguese. Walton's laughter faded. His smirk stiffened. Prove it. Marcus did, effortlessly. He bowed in Japanese, quoted a Swahili proverb, rolled Portuguese across his tongue like he had lived in Lisbon his whole life. The room shifted. Walton was no longer laughing. He was listening. "Where did you learn this?" he asked. "At the public library," Marcus answered. "Knowledge doesn't cost anything." Walton sneered. "Even so, languages won't help you survive in the real world of business." Marcus tilted his head. "Then why did you mislead your investors in yesterday's call with Dubai?" The air thickened. Walton's jaw clenched. "What are you talking about?" Marcus explained, in flawless Arabic, how Walton had mistranslated key financial terms during his press release, turning $1 million promise into $1 million liability. Walton's chest tightened. "You were on that call?" "No," Marcus said simply. "I studied your release and compared it with accurate translations. Your translator isn't reliable. You're losing trust overseas." Grace could hardly believe her son's words. And yet, Marcus wasn't finished. From his backpack, he pulled a folder. Online certifications, test scores, even a recommendation from a university professor amazed by his fluency. Still, Walton scoffed, "So you're clever, but this is business. You don't belong in this world." Marcus leaned forward. His voice sharpened. "Then maybe you should hear this." He placed a recorder on the desk, pressed play. Walton's own voice filled the office. "Don't promote the janitors, kids. They'll never belong in corporate offices. Hire them to clean, not to think." The billionaire's face drained of color. He remembered saying it, thinking no one else was listening. "That recording is illegal," Walton hissed. "No," Marcus replied, calm as stone. "It's legal, and I don't want to use it, unless I have to." Walton's arrogance cracked. His voice faltered. "What do you want from me?" Marcus's answer was steady, powerful. "Give my mother the promotion she deserves. Create scholarships for kids from neighborhoods like mine. And let me work for you as a junior consultant." "You're 14, Walton muttered. "And I just saved you from losing $70 million, Marcus replied. Silence. Then slowly, with trembling hands, Walton signed the agreement Marcus had prepared. That night, Grace walked out of Walton Global not just a janitor, but a supervisor. Marcus walked beside her, his backpack heavy, his future already shifting. Walton sank into his office chair, whispering to himself, "I've been outsmarted by a janitor's son." But Marcus smiled. "Not outsmarted, sir. I gave you a choice." Months passed. Walton Global transformed. Scholarships opened for Bronx kids. Internships created for teenagers who never dreamed of stepping into skyscrapers. Grace rose to lead the facilities department, her uniform replaced with tailored suits. And Marcus? At 15, he became the youngest advisor Walton Global had ever seen. He sat in boardrooms catching mistakes that senior executives overlooked. He traveled abroad with Walton, fixing translation errors before they became million-dollar disasters. Yet Marcus never forgot the Bronx. He returned to his neighborhood with books, with laptops, with opportunities. "If I can speak 9 languages," he told local kids, "you can learn one. And that one can open doors you never thought existed." One day, a journalist asked Walton, "How does it feel to have been outsmarted by a janitor's son?" This time, Walton didn't flinch. He smiled, not bitterly, but humbly. "It feels like the most important lesson of my life. That genius can come from anywhere. You just have to be willing to see it." Marcus closed his laptop, looking at a room filled with new interns from neighborhoods like his. His voice was steady, hopeful. "Don't let anyone tell you what you're worth. Your background doesn't define your future. But preparation? That changes everything. And so, the boy with a backpack full of library books rewrote not just his destiny, but the future of an empire.